see on your note." Well, I didn't want an old man living in my backyard, and the real estate bird said, "Well, tell him to hit the road then." But I didn't want to do that either to Mr. Proctor. The truth was, we couldn't afford a house, not even this cottage, living on my father's charity as we were, and Norma either could not or would not find an apartment with thick walls made of honest plaster. I had specified this as against the modern drywall material, which not only conducts sound readily, but in many cases seems to amplify it. I should have paid more attention to Norma. I should have talked to her and listened to her, but I didn't do it. A timely word here and there might have worked wonders. I knew she was restless and anxious to play a more active part in life. She spoke in just those terms, and there were other signals as well. She announced one day that she wanted to give a party in our apartment with the theme of Around the World in 80 Days. I couldn't believe my ears. A party! She talked about applying for a job as stewardess with Braniff Airlines. She bought a bicycle, an expensive multi-geared model, and joined a cycling club against my wishes. The idea was that she and her chums would pedal along leafy country lanes, shouting and singing like a bunch of Germans. But from all I could see, they just had meetings in the damp basement of a church. I could go on and on. She wanted to dye her hair. She wanted to change her name to Stacy or Pam or April. She wanted to open a shop selling Indian jewelry. It wouldn't hurt me to discuss this shop idea with her. Big profits are made every day in that silver and turquoise stuff. But I couldn't be bothered. I had to get on with my reading. Now she was gone. She'd gone to Mexico with Guy Dupree, for that was where my dotted line led. The last position was the Hotel Mogador in San Miguel de Allende, where I drew a terminal cross on the map with my draftsman's pencil and shaded it in to give the effect of depth. The last receipt was just 12 days old. Our Mexican friends have a reputation for putting things off until another day and for taking long naps, but there had been no snoozing over this bill. I looked at Dupree's contemptuous approximation of my signature on the receipt. On some of the others he had signed Mr. Smart Shopper and Wallace Fard. Here he was then, cruising the deserts of Mexico in my Ford Torino with my wife and my credit cards and his black-tongued dog. He had a chow dog that went everywhere with him, to the post office and ball games, and now that red beast was making free with his lion feet on my Torino seats. In exchange for my car, he'd left me his 1963 Buick Special. I found it in my slot at the Rhino Apartments parking lot, standing astride a red puddle of transmission fluid. It was a compact car, a rusty little piece of basic transportation with a V6 engine. The thing ran well enough, and it seemed eager to please, but I couldn't believe the Buick engineers ever had their hearts in a people's car. Dupree had shamefully neglected it. There was about a quarter turn of slack in the steering wheel, and I had to swing it wildly back and forth in a childlike burlesque of motoring. After a day or two, I got the hang of it, but the violent arm movements made me look like a lunatic. I had to stay alert every second, every instant, to make small corrections. That car had 74,000 miles on it, and the speedometer cable was broken. There was a hole in the floor on the driver's side, and when I drove over something white, the flash between my feet made me jump. Well, that's enough on the car for now. This business came at a bad time. Just a month earlier, right after my 26th birthday, I'd quit my job on the copy desk at the newspaper to return to school. My father had agreed to support me again until I received a degree of some sort, or at least a teaching certificate. He had also presented me with the American Express card, he having had a good business year sprucing up old houses with Midge stone. As I say, the birthday was my 26th, but for some reason I'd been thinking throughout the previous year that I was already 26. A free year. The question was, would I piddle it away like the others? My new plan was to become a high school teacher. I'd accumulated enough college hours over the years for at least 2 bachelor's degrees,